يروي الإمامان البخاري ومسلم كل في صحيحيهما عنه أي أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه وارضاه قال رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم كل أمتي معافا إلا المجاهرين. Brothers and sisters, today's hadith is one of those very powerful narrations of the Prophet ﷺ, narrated in collections of both Bukhari and Muslim, and it's a متفق عليه, it's an agreed upon its authenticity. And when you say متفق عليه, it means it's narrated by the same companion with almost the exact wording. Sometimes there are some differences, but in both Bukhari and Muslim, by the same companion, and in this case is Abu Hurairah, with the exact same wording. And it's one of the most powerful narrations, and I call them nows or today's ahadith, because they're so relevant to today. They're so it describes actually the life we're living today. The Prophet ﷺ here says that every one of my nation, of my followers, كل أمتي معافا إلا المجاهرين. Everyone will be saved eventually. Everyone is in afiyah, and as you know, afiyah is wider than it's a term used in Arabic. It's a very wide term. It means well-being. It means every aspect of well-being in terms of health and financial and general well-being. In this case, the Prophet ﷺ is actually referring to when the Muslim meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hereafter, then they will be forgiven in this case. إِلَّا الْمُجَاهِرِينَ, except those who actually expose their wrongdoings to people. They go publicly with the sins that they do. And then the Prophet ﷺ gives us an example. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْمُجَاهَرَةِ, and this is the wording of Sahih Muslim. In Bukhari, he says, وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْمَجَانَةِ, and mujahara is when you actually go public. وَالْمَجَانَة is when you really don't care what you do and what you say, right? There's no filter. There's nothing to hold you back. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْمُجَاهَرَةِ أَنْ يَعْمَلَ الرَّجُلُ بِالليل عملا. A man or woman in this case, when it says الرجل, it doesn't mean a male. It means anyone, a Muslim in this case. He does something at night, and يعمل بالليل عملا ثم يصبح وقد ستره الله عليه. And then he wakes up in the morning the next day, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept it between him and this person, has not exposed him publicly. فيقول, and this person goes, فيقول يا فلان إني عملت البارحة كذا وكذا. And he goes and exposes himself to people, and he says, this is what I did. These are the things that I did yesterday. وقد بات يستره ربه ويصبح يكشف ستر الله عنه. And he is actually committing a sin, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on top of it is actually covering it for him, but he goes and exposes himself to others. And it's very relevant, this hadith, for the life we live today. And we can talk about it for a very long time, but I'm going to mention just 3 things. Number 1 is the value of actually, as a human being, it is expected that we make mistakes and commit sins. That's not the problem. The problem is when there's no guilt and no remorse after that. That's the issue. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects you to make mistakes, but to go public about it means you really don't care. There's really no guilt, no feeling, no knowledge that this is actually an act of disrespect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is dangerous actually to the person. The second point is actually that this will create a sense of normalization of wrongdoings in the community when it's seen everywhere. That you get to the point where it's wrong but really cannot recognize it. And the third thing, one would think, okay, well, this is who I am and I do things discreetly. I might as well just do it in public because I'm not a hypocrite. This is what I do actually. And that is one of the gateways of shaitan to your soul. That this tells you that it is okay. Well, that's just who you are. And the scholars say that shaitan cannot enter into one's, unless that your nafs, your ego, opens the door for it. And that's one of the ways that gets into you, tells you that that's just who you are. Don't be a hypocrite. Just it's just normal. So my advice to myself and to everyone, and my brothers and sisters, that we all make mistakes and we all commit sins and all that. And as long as we keep it between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one can know about it, and it could be, there's a high chance that it could be forgiven. But when you go public, then you are exposing yourself to affecting others and affecting the public itself. And I hope this was of benefit. سبحانك يروي الإمامان البخاري ومسلم في رضي الله تعالى عنهما في صحيحهما عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه وأرضاه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كل أمتي معافا إلا المجاهرين وإن من المجاهرة وفي رواية البخاري وإن من المجانة أن يعمل الرجل بالليل عملا ثم يصبح وقد ستره الله عليه فيقول يا فلان عملت البارحة كذا وكذا وقد بات يستره ربه. In this case, it says يستره, his Lord, and that's meant to be that way. ويصبح يكشف ستر الله عنه. وصلى الله تعالى على حبيبنا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بارك الله فيكم.